Hi guys, my name is Autumn and I am the artist and small business owner behind Autumn Serenity Illustration. My business is a stationery shop really focused on cute and wholesome illustrations and goodies. I am doing something crazy. I am going to make a series. This is by no means going to be a professional tutorial at all. This is going to be my thoughts and opinions on what you should do if you're thinking about starting an art business. Disclaimers first. I am not an expert. I heard recently someone say that a lot of times when someone is at point A, they feel a lot more comfortable and encouraged when they are taught by someone at point C or D rather than someone at point X, Y, Z. That really gave me a lot of encouragement because I would say I'm at point like D. I have notes, so let's get into it. Today we're going to talk about whether or not an art business is right for you. You may be doing something creative as a hobby. Perhaps you like to crochet, you like to paint pottery, you like to draw or paint like I do. I really think this will all apply to any kind of creative business you're interested in. I don't think you need to have the same goal as me to be able to benefit from this. My videos are going to focus a lot on mindset. And before you click away, I want to take that approach because nobody knows you better than you. Nobody knows your goals better. Nobody knows where you want to go, what means a lot to you, and where you see yourself in 10 years better than you do. And so saying, okay, number one, do this, number two, do that, giving you those kind of strict rules, I think is really going to stunt you more than it's going to help you because you're different than I am and you're different than everyone else. And you need to lean into that. Lean into what makes you different, whether you keep this as a hobby or not. You are special and perfect the way you are, and leaning more into who you are and more authentically yourself in anything you do is the absolute best way to go about anything, business included. I am not a work until you burn out and repeat kind of person. I decided a long time ago not to torture myself with my passion, not to whip myself with my art, something I love so much. I'm gonna come at this from a positive, slow and steady standpoint. That's just what I believe in. And I also believe that's what makes the most consistent and reliable businesses over time. If you love your hobby and you are feeling pressure from friends or family being like, you could make so much money doing this. Oh, you're leaving so much money on the table. You're so good at that. If that's why you're thinking about making an art business, I want to give you permission right now. You don't owe anyone anything, nothing. If you sit in your basement and make the most beautiful art in the world and you don't want anyone to see it ever, it's never gonna touch the light of day. If you burn every painting after you make it, do you? Life is about having fun and loving what you do. It's not about hustling until you die, okay? You do not have to turn your passion or your hobby into a business. Take those words from people, thank them because it is a very good compliment. They think that you're amazing and they think that everyone else would think you're amazing, and truly that is very sweet to say. What I'm gonna talk about next is mainly general guidance and advice. It's not rules, it's not requirements. You don't have to completely agree with me on all of this. Like I said, we're all different, but these are things that I've learned and I think that they will help you. First, if art is your main hobby, so it used to be mine, drawing, painting, that used to be my main hobby. That's what I did for fun. If you make your art a business, you have to understand that that is no longer your hobby. And I am so sorry. I used to think that, oh, well, I'll make some art for my business and some art as a hobby. And I see a lot of artists talking about wanting to do that, wishing they could do that, but it's difficult. It's hard. Once you look at something in your life with a business mindset, you can't turn it off. Maybe you are the chosen one and you can, but I am telling you, I don't think it'll work. It's my job that I love, which is awesome, but it's not my hobby and I needed to find new hobbies. But I would seriously suggest to you that you have some non-creative hobbies too, because what you'll find is your creative juices are going to be drained more than ever. If you decide to make your creative passion a business, all of your creative juices are not going to go towards painting, for example. Some of your creative energy is going to go towards things like marketing, problem solving, branding. You know, if you're going the social media route, it'll go towards that. If you're selling in person, maybe it'll be the way you're displaying your artwork in your booth. And long story short, you need something that doesn't require creativity in your free time. I like to read. I like to play video games. I like to take my dogs for a walk. I like to hang out with my friends, go out to dinner, try new foods. When you have an art business, sometimes that can feel as counterproductive. Like, oh, I should be doing something that feeds my creativity. I should be exercising this creative muscle in my brain. I should be drawing every day when I'm not doing something for my business. I should be doing something to better my business in the long run, blah, blah, blah. Not true. Okay. I'll give you an example. Tomorrow, I'm gonna go to some antique stores with my grandmother, and I'm bringing my phone to take pictures because antiques are one of my biggest inspirations in my artwork now, because I started to do something that I enjoy doing in my life, and it influences my art and it refuels my creativity because it's something fun. It's something in my art. It's something inside of me that I have fun with. Video games influenced my art. I've come up with quite a few video game related designs that are actually some of my best sellers. I just want you to understand that your hobbies and your passions outside of your business are equally important. It keeps you healthy. It keeps your mind healthy. It gives you a mental break. It makes you feel refreshed when you come back to your business. And most importantly, if you really are worried about the productivity, a lot of times you find a lot of inspiration in the wildest places. Don't be afraid to try new things. And I know what you're thinking, oh, I'm already doing so much, and then now I want to start a business, and now you're telling me to get new hobbies. And for that, I am sorry. I cannot tell you how to better manage your time, because Lord knows I could use some time management skills myself. But just understand, you are not a robot, you are not a machine, you are not a production line, and life is about enjoyment, and it's not always about hustling. Next up, when you first start getting into wanting to start a small business, or maybe you're in the very first stages of starting a small business, you're gonna be watching a lot of videos like this where you are learning. And if you wanna keep going down this small business path, you really need to foster a love for learning, an enthusiasm for learning something new, trying something new, and taking time out of your very busy schedule to learn a skill that you think is important. I think a lot of times people think, oh, well, like the first year of starting a business, there's gonna be a lot of learning, but then after that, we're good. After that, I already know how to do it. And I would really encourage you to get rid of that mindset. I think it's true that, you're really gonna be front loading a lot of skills at the very beginning while you learn how to do brand new things. But I really think that fostering a love for learning along your journey makes this so much better. Give yourself permission to make mistakes while you're doing this. It's not the end of the world. I remember when I first started trying to figure out how to ship things, I thought if the post office would call me and say, hey, you didn't pay enough postage on this, that it would be the end of the world. And now I understand it's not the end of the world. You don't have to be perfect at everything. It's okay to be troubleshooting. It's okay to be trying new things. And now that I've embraced an attitude of that it's fun to learn and that it's okay to make mistakes, this has been a lot easier. I also understand too that I don't know everything, but it's okay to learn. It's okay to experiment. And you are going to go so much farther in your business. And frankly, even if you keep this a hobby, so much farther in your hobby if you give yourself permission to learn. If you hate learning and you're like, that is going to suck the passion right out of me, this is probably not good for you. I'm gonna be honest. If you genuinely want to stay in your comfort zone, you're like, look, I do this for fun. I don't want to learn a bunch of new stuff and have that kind of pressure on myself. That is okay. But I will tell you, if you're not interested in learning a lot of new stuff, then it's better to keep your passion as a hobby than it is as a business. If you feel like you can change your mindset on that, and if you actively try to change your mindset on that, you will feel so much better. I changed my mindset on it, and frankly, sometimes when I'm like, oh, I still have to learn that new program or whatever, it's not very fun. But you know what? I pull up a tutorial, I get me a nice little snack, a cute little drink, and I'm like, okay, this is gonna be okay. Let's try to make this as enjoyable as possible. Oh, number 3. Oh, I just read my notes. Number 3 is patience. I think that I have a lot more patience than the average person, and I would say that it still sometimes tests me. Things move slow. Hot take, these videos that are like, I started an Etsy shop and made $600,000 this year. Here's how you can. Something's off. They're lying about something. They already own multiple other Etsy shops or something. Because let me tell you, you can just say whatever numbers you want, by the way. Let me remind you of that before we keep going. You have to be extremely patient. You have to be patient for both internal factors and external factors. Internally, you need to be patient with yourself. You need to be patient with your creativity. You need to be patient with your energy. You need to be patient with your resilience. And if you're still building patience, unfortunately, you might need to be patient with your patience. I'm sorry, but it's true. External factors, I would think are things like your job. I would think are things like your bills. You might need to be patient with how much energy those things are taking. Having an art business is not an overnight thing. Like if there is anything you take from this is not easy overnight. I just want you to know fully what you're getting yourself into. Having patience with the market, having patience with where you decide to sell, whether that's art markets or conventions or online shops, having patience with social media. If you're gonna go that route, building your social media, gosh, you have to have patience with that. You just don't have control over that stuff, and you have to have some peace and patience within yourself. This one is difficult, but it is something that you can learn along the way, and that is confidence within yourself. You are not going to get a lot of external praise for this. If you rely mainly on external praise and confidence from other people saying you're doing great, or this is so good, or you're gonna do great at this, I fear that starting a business with this will be soul crushing. And I hate to say that, but I mean it wholeheartedly. You have to believe in yourself and have self-confidence from within. You have to say to yourself, I have a good idea. I do this well. I have faith that if I continue down this path, something good will come from it. If I sat around and waited for a notification to come in on my computer and say, girl, you are awesome, you got this, from someone else, I wouldn't do anything, ever. You know, if someone tells me that I waste my time and that no one likes my art, that's not going to crush me because I have self-confidence in myself that I like my art and that's someone. And if I like doing this and I enjoy doing it, then that's enough and reason to keep going. And I would encourage you, please work on that with yourself. I do think it would help you so much with any entrepreneurial, I hope I said that word right, goals that you have, but it would also help you with all kinds of things. You are an awesome person. You do have good ideas. And even if, say, your art skill level is not where you want it to be, two things can be true once. You can know I have a long way to go, and you can have confidence within yourself that you can do that and that you're on the right path. Even if you don't have confidence in your product, like I don't think anyone would buy this, have confidence in the journey, have confidence in you, have confidence that I can make this work. I am resilient, I have good ideas, I can stick with this, and I want to make this work, therefore I will. Try to work on that. That's not something you need to start with, but it is a skill that you need to acquire kind of quickly. Otherwise, I think that you might get burnt out pretty quickly. Let's get touchy. We are going to touch on a touchy subject now. Do not do this for money. Ugh. And I know what you're thinking, who wants to start a business if not for money? Fair point. But starting a creative business is really more about a passion-driven business rather than a money-driven business. Don't get me wrong, we have bills, we need to put a roof over our head, we need money, I get that. But if you are getting into this business being like, this would be a great way to make money, I am so sorry to burst your bubble, but you are wrong, and I am sorry, and I wish it were true. And your primary motivator needs to be your passion and interest in this field. A passion-driven approach will always outlast a money-driven approach. As artists, we have to love what we do. And if you're only doing things that you think will sell, or you are only tapping into markets you think are like a good opportunity, but maybe you don't really like doing it, this just isn't gonna last. Your creativity is gonna run out, your passion is gonna run out, and when that's gone, you're gonna wanna quit. In the beginning, a lot of people make those mistakes. Burnout can sneak in multiple ways. First of all, it can sneak in when you're doing a money-motivated approach. It can also sneak in if you're comparing yourself to other businesses too much. Learning from other people is great. Constantly comparing yourself to them, bad, bad, bad. If you are looking at someone's page and saying they're so good, I shouldn't even try, you've gone too far in. When you first start, you are so excited. When you decide, I am gonna do this, you know what? I am gonna start a business, and you start having all of these ideas and you're like, what if my packaging looked like this? What if I did this? What if I started a series here? You are really excited, and it is so easy to overwork yourself. I think that you should have so much fun with your excitement. I think that you should write down all of your ideas. I am happy that you feel as good as you feel because I know that feeling, okay? However, take that feeling and really revel in it, really have fun. Don't work yourself to the bone. Working yourself too much in the beginning can burn you out before you even get started. You get so caught up in this, like, I have so many ideas, I'm doing so much, I'm drawing so much, I'm learning so much, and yet I'm moving nowhere. You're not gonna move anywhere for a while. You're still building the bus, and you can be so excited about the bus, but the fact is, until you build it, it's not gonna move. And the same thing is with small business. And so if you're in the middle of building the bus and you're getting frustrated because you're saying, why is the bus not built already? You're never gonna finish, you're gonna walk away, and you're gonna be done, and it's never gonna go anywhere. I want you to revel in the amazing feeling, the amazing encouragement and inspiration and energy you're gonna have when you decide to start something new. New things are so fun, but don't let that new thing burn you into the ground. You have great ideas, you have great energy, you're excited about this. Let's keep that ball rolling and not stop us before we start, okay? Let's get a little bit more personal. An art business was the right choice for me, and I want to explain why. First of all, I had this really toxic mindset a long time ago that making art just for fun was useless. Ugh, that is not a good mindset to have. But I felt like, why draw if I'm not gonna do anything with it, if no one's gonna see it? It really discouraged me from creating. Whereas when I made an art business, I'm so excited to show you guys what I'm doing. I created with the idea of wanting to share it. I want to show people. I don't like creating something, shutting it in a book, and then no one ever knows it exists but me. But that might be you. You might enjoy having that private privacy. I really enjoyed talking to people about art. I wanted to get to know people in this community. I wanted to have friends that were artists. I wanted to have followers that enjoyed art and we could talk about it. Another reason an art business was right for me is, and this is kind of funny, but I like being in charge. I do. I like being in charge. I like making decisions. I like activating that part of my brain where I'm like, what makes sense numbers wise? What makes sense research wise? What's a good strategy for this? What's something new I could learn? I enjoy that part of me, and so I really like running my own business. I like doing things my own way. I like doing things when and if I want to do them, which, you know, can be good or bad. That's a skill you have to learn. You are in charge here. You're in charge of yourself, your energy, your ideas. You choose what to do next. And frankly, that means if something goes poorly, it's also on you. You were the one that made that decision. That works for me. For you, that might not work for you. Probably the last thing I can think of right now is I quite enjoy routine tasks. I have to count my stock. I have to make the same sticker like 100 times. I have to edit files. I have to organize and go through photo and video. Editing videos takes forever, especially for YouTube. Those are routine tasks that a lot of people find really boring. Don't get me wrong, I get you, but I quite like them. Sometimes I'm not in the mood to have a super creative burst, to have a lot of energy. So having these routine tasks to fall back on doesn't bother me. I quite enjoy them. That's why I chose to have a small business. I have more reasons, but that's really the three that I can really think of off the top of my head. But an art business was really a no-brainer for me. I knew that's what I wanted to do, no matter what the challenges and struggles would be. But let's review maybe some ways that you might feel where it would be better for you to be a hobbyist or a freelancer with your artwork. One, if you value creative freedom. Now let me say, you have a great idea. If you think it's really creative and cool, even if it falls slightly outside of your niche, do it anyway. But creative freedom to the point where you want to create something totally out of the box all the time and you feel you're not gonna have the energy or the space to do it if you start an art business, really consider that that might be really bad for you. If you've got a lot of great ideas, I want you to have time to pursue them. That's awesome. If you love lots of things and they all don't fit like similarly in a niche, then you might have to cut out some of those things because making a business takes a lot of time, energy, and creative energy. So if you really value the creative freedom of being able to do whatever you want, whenever you want, without needing anyone's approval or anyone's eyes on it, I think being a hobbyist is better for you. Just talking about business, money, or analytics, or views, or marketing, or learning something new, does that stuff completely drain the life out of you? If it does, this is probably not something you're going to enjoy doing, and I'm being honest about that. I enjoy that strategic mind. I like it. If you don't, and the idea of doing that just makes you want to roll over in your grave, you probably aren't going to enjoy the business side of it. And unfortunately, if you don't enjoy talking about business, you're gonna have to be talking and thinking and probably journaling about it a lot to figure out where you need to go next with your business or to get other people's feedback. If you don't want to, if you don't like the idea of a lot of people being able to see your work and say something about it and interpret it in their own way, this isn't gonna work. Here is a good one, which, you know, obviously was my last point. If you're in a place with your art where you're feeling very vulnerable, very easily discouraged, this is not a good time to start a business. There are going to be people that see your art and go, oh, that's beautiful, and just walk away and not want to buy it. There's going to be people that look at it and are like, that is not my style. And if that would crush you, this is just not the time. You're too early in on this process. Give yourself some more privacy with your work until you feel more confident, because here's the thing. I love my artwork, okay? It's the kind of stuff that I like, the kind of stuff that I like to have. There are a lot of people that are like, ooh, that's girly, which by the way, not an insult, but that doesn't bother me. I don't care. And that's where you need to be. You need to make sure that you're not easily discouraged, because if someone writes a comment on your account saying, why do you only make art about salamanders? That's pretty weird. If that's gonna make you stop doing what you love, you are not ready for this. Please don't let anything get in the way of your creative heart and your creative spirit. All right, and I wanna remind you that say you're amazing at watercolor paintings, okay? And you really don't wanna make a business, but you are interested in making some side money with it, it's totally fine to start out as a freelancer. Fiverr, Upwork, Etsy, put your commissions up there. You don't really have to be on social media for that. If you would just be happy with some orders occasionally, but you don't want to run a whole business, then that's a fair trade, and I definitely think you should do it. Freelancing does not take as much time and energy and creative effort as dedicating your whole career to this one specific thing. Now, obviously you can freelance full time. I don't know much about that. I do freelance occasionally myself, and I did start out in this career as a freelancer, but I imagine just some freelancing on the side would maybe be a good balance with your creativity. Now, finally, we are going to end this video with some questions to ask yourself. I think that sometimes just listening to someone talk talk is a lot harder to really reflect on yourself, but here are some questions that I think would really help you if you asked yourself. Number one, why do I want to start a business? Again, if it's for money, probably not a good reason. If there's lots of reasons and money falls lower on the list, that's okay. Think about it. Why do I want to start a business? Is it to please others? Is it for money? Is it because the idea of it just lights me on fire and I'm so excited? Is it because other people think it would be a good idea? Or is it because in 10 years, I see myself with a whole series of paintings in a gallery somewhere? That matters. What are your reasons? You can have as many or as little as come to mind, but reflect on them. Do you think those reasons are sustainable? Number two, do I want to build a brand or just create? That matters. I'm sorry. It can feel like a creative box to some people. Personally, I love branding because I think it's important to make your branding reflective of who you are and what you enjoy. So I like creating within my own branding style, but if creating a brand just makes you just want to roll your eyes and be like, I could not do that. I don't want to have, one name. I don't want to think about cohesive color schemes. I don't want to think about graphics. I don't want to think about any of that. I just want to create freely. Then a hobby is probably more your speed. Don't know businesses that are normally very successful without some kind of clear and consistent branding, because branding builds trust and consistency with your audience. Number three, do I enjoy a challenge? Now, let me tell you, this is a skill that you can grow on if at first you don't really enjoy a challenge, but think to yourself, do I like to be challenged, or does challenging myself just make me not want to do it anymore? Do I like to be challenged also ropes back into, do I like to learn? Number four is, am I in a vulnerable place? I said this a little bit earlier, but are you? I have to say, negative feedback is pretty rare and far between, but if you're banking on no one saying anything negative to you or no one giving you a strange look when you say what you do for work, if that stuff is gonna make you quit, now's not the time. It's not that you can't ever do it, but you need to get a little bit of thicker skin. I don't want you to stop creating art because someone says something negative or someone doesn't really see the vision that you see. Their opinion is not as important as yours when it comes to your passion, your interest, and your vision. Ask yourself honestly, am I too vulnerable for this right now? That doesn't mean you can't have a business in the future, but think about it now. And if you are, try to work on it within yourself now before you start trying to post online. Because if you post a reel that you tried really, really hard on and it gets 0 views, if that's gonna break you and you're never gonna make another reel, now is not the time. You need to have some resilience before you start. And you can learn resilience while doing this, but you can't start at 0 with resilience or you'll quit pretty early on. The fifth and final question I think you should ask yourself is, am I romanticizing the lifestyle of an art business owner? We don't show the boring stuff. There is a lot of boring stuff that goes on. Knowing my studio vlogs span about 3 days, if the 3 days I was filming was the 3 days I was working on a YouTube video nonstop, no one would watch, but those days exist. I have to be honest, I draw and create now less. I have less time for it now than when it was a booming hobby for me. So do not romanticize this. The reels you see of someone pouring coffee in their beautifully decorated studio, those are staged for your entertainment. They are selling you an idea. They are selling you the lifestyle. They are wanting you to watch their content and buy their products because it makes you feel like doing so will get you closer to that lifestyle, but it's not true. Not even the colors in the video are real. Like, there's so much you can do on the editing side of things. But please do not think that this lifestyle is amazing. Do not think that this lifestyle will bring you happiness. Happiness comes from inside, not external factors, not from your career. It comes from your passions and your life and your internal peace. The videos of someone painting in their seaside studio with the waves coming in, that's all selling you. That is marketing. This is not romantic. This is fun and I love it and this is my best life, but it might not be for you. If the idea of sitting down to edit a YouTube video for 3 days in a row and watching yourself say the same sentence 7 times just to get the audio right makes you want to choke, I'm sorry, but this is kind of what it looks like behind the scenes. I try to be as honest as I can. I, on Instagram, post a lot of reels of getting scammed at art markets, having no sales. I try to be honest, but even I don't film everything. I got diagnosed with a chronic illness not too long ago, and I couldn't create for at least 2 weeks. I mean, even sitting in my office seemed completely impossible. By the nature of not feeling like I can create, obviously I don't film and post that stuff. So understand that people are crafting an image before they show it to you. And it's not necessarily because they're trying to do anything wrong, but it's because you wouldn't watch it otherwise. If it was boring, or if I showed myself so far behind on laundry that I do laundry all day and don't even have time to do some admin work or answer some emails, probably not gonna watch the video because it's boring. Before you jump into this, make sure the thought is not going through my mind. As long as I have an art business, then I'll be happy. Happiness can come before you reach a goal. If your happiness only comes from reaching a goal and then it diminishes because then you have a next goal, that is putting you on a hamster wheel and you're not gonna get off of it. You're never going to reach a goal that's high enough for you to be satisfied. Happiness you can have right now within yourself. You do not need to reach a goal like, now I'm a business owner. Promise. The original excitement of starting a business is not a replacement for long-term and consistent happiness and peace within your life. I was no happier doing this until I really started working on myself and really making sure that I am putting things into a perspective that makes me happy, that makes me see the world and life as a brighter, lighter place. So do not romanticize this. I try not to romanticize it. It is not just beautiful and amazing as an art business owner, and I don't care what anyone says or anyone shows you, they are lying. If they say that this is so beautiful and amazing and run my cozy 7-figure art business with me, it's so easy, they are lying. They are selling you that idea and it's not true. I was imagining I was talking to my younger self and not you, so I'm sorry if I got like too much in your face, but I hope that this video was helpful. If it wasn't helpful, I guess I'm sorry. But I made this video with the idea of talking to my younger self. I really wish that I would have absorbed these ideas and these messages years ago. It's okay to go slow and steady. It's okay to change your mind. It's okay to try something new, and it's okay to fail. And you know what's also okay? It's also okay for you to think, yeah, I want to start an art business. And you start it, you tell all your friends and family, you start a social media and you say, I don't like doing this, and to stop. In conclusion, I hope this video helped you. I hope this will become a series, and I hope this series will help you. If there's anything very specific you want to know, or maybe some feedback you want to give, or better yet, some advice you'd like to give to someone thinking about starting this, please leave it below. I am definitely planning on talking more about this subject because I think it's really important, and although I was dreading sitting here to film it, I actually had quite a good time. So thank you so much for watching. If you like hearing me talk about stuff like this, then don't forget to like and subscribe and follow along to see a series come to life all about this kind of subject. And no matter what you choose, know that I am rooting for you. Okay, bye guys. My problem right now is I write in cursive, and sometimes when I have an idea, I write so fast that I can't figure out what I wrote. What is that word? Rather art as main hop? Oh, if you'd rather art be a hobby, then keep it a hobby. That was a stupid point, obviously.